Welcome back to Danja Knife and Tool. Okay, today we have QSP Penguin. QSP for quality, service, and price. Comes in a nice box. The Penguin Glide Lock. Okay. The Penguin is been around for quite some time. I believe it first came out in just a simple liner lock. And it probably came out for about $32. And this is more of an upgraded version. They have a button lock. This one is the glide lock, and it does glide. It glides real nice, as a matter of fact. This is a really nice knife. 14C 28N steel, and as it seems, this is one of the newer versions that just came out. A few videos ago, I had said or was talking about micarta handles that I really like, and I said pretty much you can make a micarta handle out of any fabric that you want. So linen, burlap, canvas, anything like that. I guess somebody at QSP said hold my beer because they came out with aluminum foil scales handles. So fantastic. These are amazing looking. I do need a better resolution on the camera here, but they do look fantastic. And then I upped it one and said, well, why would I put a rope lanyard on when I could put a stainless steel rope lanyard? And it looks like a dragon tail. And at first I figured, I go, well, that's terrible. I was going to cut it off immediately. But in playing around with it, it kind of folds up nice, and you can kind of put this in your pocket pretty nicely. And I was able to pull it out of my pocket a few times like that. This is a beautiful quality knife. It's the glide lock does glide. I think the handles are gorgeous. The blade steel is great. I love the blade shape. The Penguin's a great choice. If anything, I would say, maybe if you wanted to have a bigger handle. I mean, if this handle was another quarter of an inch longer, this might be in one of the top 10 best knives ever. But it is a little on the small side, but when you grip it, you got the jimping on top, and I love the jimping when it goes from the handle to the blade like that. That is awesome. Okay, and you do have steel liners, and they are skeletonized for lightweight. The thing doesn't weigh that much. Pocket clip is decent, and it really is a nice knife. Let's pull out our reference knife there and see what that looks like up against that. See what I'm saying? If that handle was just a little bit longer, because this might be the perfect size handle in like maybe the Bug Out or the Ozark Trail, or a lot of knives come in this size handle and they're kind of perfect. This one is a little on the short. It doesn't affect the usage of the knife, especially if you're going to grip it and use it this way. It cuts just fine. Your fingers stay on it the whole time. You don't need the silly lanyard that I put on there. It does function just fine. I just feel a little more comfortable with a little bit more handle length, like on this guy right here. So this is not going to be in my daily carry rotation, my EDC pile, but it sure is a good looking knife, and it sure is fun to play with. Now, like I started saying, I think the Pen came out in different iterations, starting as a liner lock, then a button, now this new glide lock, which we have here. And it started $32. Then I think the usual price, like a G10 scale, is about $49. If you want the aluminum foil or the copper foil handle, you're going to pay up. You're going to pay up $66 is what you're going to pay. And then they have even higher end models than that, where they have different blade steels and carbon fiber in like Winter Storm or whatever, and those are upwards of $179. So if you're interested in the Penguin style, it's a good looking style. It's a good quality knife. QSP ain't kidding with their quality, service, price. Really, you can't beat it for the price. This one again, I paid up $66 instead of the $32 or the $49. But if you want the fancier scales, you're going to pay up. And I just think it's hilarious. After I just did the last video saying about the micarta handles, boom, this comes out within, I think, a week of that. So this is a very new model. and I had to get it as soon as I saw the aluminum foil, scales. And then, like I said, I wanted to try it with the stainless steel. You know, it kind of works. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I might end up cutting that off. It's kind of permanently crimped on there for right now, so it's either it stays or it gets cut off and thrown in the garbage. You know, it's a good knife. I like it. Just not going to be my daily carry. And I'm telling you guys how it is because no one's sending me knives. I'm not being paid by anybody. So I'm going to tell you flat out everything about every knife that I like, that I don't like, and all the ins and outs that I find out. Like, for instance, I told you guys about the pivot screw fell out of this the other day. And everything that I'm going to show, I will mess with for days and days and evenings and nights. I'm not, like, I've had this for a couple weeks now. And I want to go through it. I want to make sure there's no failure point. I don't want to find out later on that I did a nice review of this knife and then the glide lock fails, which it hasn't. I don't think it's going to ever, but, I did find one last night that was one of my favorite knives, and I did find a failure point. You're going to see that in the next video. And I'm going to tell you all about it, even though it was my favorite, because I want you to know that before you go out and spend your hard-earned money. All right, that's it for now. Thanks.